Well, obviously, frustrating results, but just your thoughts on this game, and then we'll start with questions.
Yeah, I think it's a really disappointing result. I know we had a lot of high hopes for this game. I think that all those chances came from mistakes by us, not being technically sound. And at this point in the season, those kind of mistakes just can't keep happening. It's kind of turning into a theme. So I think we all recognize that and we take accountability for the goals that occurred in this game. And that was all on us. We could have fixed that.
And we'll open it up for questions. If anybody has one, you can either fire it into the chat here or do the raise your hand function on Zoom. Something that was asked with Emma. What was it about your team in the second half, though, that you were able to fight back and get the goal and really grow into the game a little bit more in that second half, especially?
I think we started finding more like higher balls, penetrating balls up into that front line. You know, we found a few balls straight into Kayla. I think Emma coming on really changed the game. Sav coming on, just having a little bit more attack, and just threatening and behind a bit more really changed the game. We weren't moving us side to side anymore. We were getting higher, you know, stepping from when we were moving around the ball around the back, we would bypass, you know, a person. And I think that really changed some things for us.
Paul asks a final home game next weekend. Sell it to the fans. How important is it for people to come fill the seats and root you guys on next week against Portland?
Yeah, I mean, we brought it to the wire for you guys. So, I mean, I think our destiny's in our hands, you know. We could have changed a little bit tonight with a win, but you know, we're still in it. We're still in a playoff push. I think if we can get as many butts in the stands and we can bring the energy from our fans to us, it can be the extra push that we need.
You've been around a lot of good players in your career, obviously. Emma just became the highest scoring rookie in our club's history, albeit a short history with her fifth goal. What do you see from her? What stands out to you from being around her this year and what makes her special?
I think she's just got an eye for the goal. There's certain players when they come into the environment, when they get the ball, all they're thinking about is how can I score? And I think that's a really special thing to have, and not everyone has that. And I think coupled with her athletic ability, just I mean, you can see her speed. Everyone's seen it on the Instagram page. When you have those two things together, it just creates a very special player. She obviously has things to grow, but she has that talent there, and you can already see what she's doing in her first year. So I'm so excited to see what she develops into over the next few years.
Um, how do you bounce back from a three-game skid here? Obviously, there's a lot at stake, but what do you think that message is in the locker room for you guys?
We just have to be technically sound. If you look back at our best games, we are a soccer playing team. We like to connect passes. We like to have possession. And if you go back and look at our the past three games, our possession has not been good enough. Our like just keeping the ball has not been good enough. And I think if we can go back to the basics and what we are good at and our identity of racing Louisville, then we can get back on track. So I think that's going to be what we're probably going to focus on this next week.
Anything else for Aaron?
Do you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, I showed up a little
It's
bit
okay.
late, but I was just interested in the sort of mental approach going forward with a couple of games left, just sort of trying to balance, like, really pushing to stay playoff contention and sort of what's going through your head.
Yeah, I mean, I think people need to take this game, throw it in the trash. Don't even think about it because at this point in the season, there's only a few games left. You can't focus or worry about what just happened. You have to focus on the next game and getting that result. So I think that's probably going to be the messaging is we can't go back and change that result, but we can change the next game. We can change how good we are on the ball. So I think that's going to be our mental state.
I guess, what, if anything, is anything salvageable from today's game? Like, what are the sort of things that you would maybe learn and grow from this?
I think coming back and getting a goal, that's salvageable. You know, I mean, I think the toughest part is the last goal in the very end. You know, we come back, fight, get a goal. So we show that we are capable of doing that. but then just staying in that rhythm. And we need to be able to get momentum back in those last 10 minutes of games. I think we're really struggling to then get possession of the ball at the very end of the game and really go at people and put them under pressure in those last 10 minutes. And I think if we can do that, I think we'll find ourselves closing out games better.
Question. It's a bit off, but this has been a historic year of African players coming to the league. What do you make of them? What have been the experience playing alongside them and Jen and Linda? And what do you think they're doing to this league?
I think they bring a whole different aspect of soccer. You know, number one, like for example, Chewinga's athletic ability. Linda, I have never seen a person so calm, cool, and collected on the ball. That girl can dice people up. And it's just a style of soccer that here in the US that we haven't seen as much. We haven't been around. And I think we're taking tidbits from them learning. Like, for example, when we played Chewinga last game, I know now that I have to, when I defend her, I have to have her in my vision at all times. If Chewinga gets behind me, she's going to beat me every time. So us as players, we're having to adapt to new styles. And I think it's really good for our league and the players here in the US because there's so many different styles of this game and we're evolving together. And I think they're making us better and we're making them better. And it's been a joy to watch them in our league this year.
Thanks again.